Hello students, welcome to Study Circle. This video is intended for those students who are going to appear for class 12 CBSE board history exam. And today we are going to read about theme 2 chapter 6 Bhakti Sufi tradition changes in religious beliefs and devotional text 8th century to 18th century. So I request you, if you are new to my channel, please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Come to the topic now, that integration of religious development and the growth of early bhakti movements. This video is very important for the revision purpose. So what is in this topic is that the period from 8th to 18th century occupies a significant place in Indian history in regard to the development of religious tradition. During this time, several changes occurred in the religious beliefs and new traditions like that of Bhakti and Sufi came into development. New literary sources from 8th to 18th century include the composition of poets, saints who sang in their regional languages and were set to music. This was followed by many generations of disciplines of these saints who elevated and modified the message. From 8th to 18th century, the striking feature was visibility of wide range of gods and goddesses in sculpture and text. There was integration of cults, composition, compilation, and presentation of Puranic text in simple Sanskritic verses. Acceptance was given by Brahmanas to beliefs and practices of women and Sudras who were generally excluded from Vedic learning. Tantric forms of worship were spread in different parts of subcontinent. The followers of Tantricism believed that life proceeds from Shakti form of goddess. Both men and women were free to take part and practitioners ignored differences of caste and class within the ritual context. Tantricism is connected to Shakti cult. Few people engaged in tantric practices ignored the authority of the Vedas. Bhakti traditions classified into Saguna with attributes and Nirguna without attributes. In Saguna tradition, the worship of Shiva was emphasized, Vishnu and their incarnation and forms of goddesses. On the other hand, Nirguna Bhakti was worshipped of an abstract form of God. The early Bhakti movements originated in South India were led by Alvars and Nayanars. Alvars were devotees of Vishnu and Nayanars were the devotees of Shiva. They composed many devotional songs which became very popular among the masses. The Alvars and Nayanars traveled from place to place singing hymns in Tamil in praise of the god. During their journey, these saints identified few shrines as abodes of their chosen deities. Later on, large temples were built on these sacred places, later developed as pilgrimage centers. Many historians suggest that these Alvars and Nayanars were against caste system and dominance of Brahmanas, which may be right to some extent because Bhakti saints belong to different communities ranging from Brahmanas to artisans and cultivators to untouchables. Presence of women was an important feature of Bhakti tradition. For example, the composition of Andal, a woman alvar, were sung widely, and even today these compositions were sung with deep devotion and faith. Similarly, Karaikal Ammayar, another woman devotee of Lord Shiva, took the path of extreme asceticism in order to achieve her goal. Nayanars and Alvars were respected by Vellala peasants. The powerful Chola rulers gave their support to Brahmanical and Bhakti tradition. Inscription of 945 CE suggests that Chola ruler, that is Parantaka I, constructed metal images of poet Saint Appar, Sambandar and Sundarav in a Shiva temple, which were carried in procession during the festival of the saints. A new movement known as Veer Sevas or Lingayats emerged in Karnataka in 12th century, which was led by a Brahman named Basvanna, and initially he was a Jaina and was a minister in the court of Chalukya ruler. His followers came to be known as Veer Saivas, that means heroes of Shiva, and Lingayat means the wearers of Linga. The Vachanas, composed in Kannada by women and men who are followers of this tradition, provide us significant information about it. Shiva is worshipped as Linga, and Veer Shaiva tradition is still popular in Karnataka till today. Lingayats believe that they are united with Shiva after their death and will not return to this world and ceremonially bury. Their dead bodies were not buried and they did not practice funeral rites gives in Dharmasastras. The question in the theory of rebirth and opposed caste system. In North India, the composition of Alvars and Nainars were not found on any text till the 14th century, and it was during this period that many Rajput states emerged in North India and Brahminical were given importance. With the advent of Muslim rulers, Islam spread and Arabian traders came to settle in various parts of India. Now come to the topic second, that is the popular practice of Islam and the growth of Sufism. What is important in this topic is that by 11th century, Sufis began to grow in different parts of the Islamic world. The word silsila means a chain, continuous link between master and disciple. Stretching unbroken to the Prophet Muhammad, it was through the chains that spiritual power and blessings were transmitted to the devotees. Special rituals of initiation were developed in which one need to take an oath of allegiance, wore a patched garment, and shave their head. When the sheikh died, his tomb became the center of devotion for his followers, which encouraged the practice of pilgrimage or ziyarat to his grave, mainly on his death anniversary. For people who believed that in death saints were united with gods and were closer to him than living. People sought their blessings and evolved the cult of Sheikh, revered as Wali. In western India, through sea routes, Arab Muslim traders settled along the Malabar coast, that is Kerala, and they are not only adopted the local Malayalam languages but also followed many cultures like matrilineal and matrilocal residence. Some architectural features of mosque are universal, like their orientation towards Makkah, while some features showed variations like building materials and roofs. There was no existence of terms like Hindu and Muslims, and people were classified on the basis of their birthplace. For example, Turkish Muslims were designated as Turuska and people from Persia known as Parashika. In early cultures of Islam, a group of religious minded people called Sufis turned to asceticism and mysticism in protest against the growing materialism of the caliphate as a religious and political institutions. They laid emphasis on salvation होगा यहाँ पे seeking salvation through intense devotion and love to God by following his commands and Prophet Muhammad. The Sufi sought to interpretation of the Quran through personal experiences. Some mystic men started movements on the basis of Sufi ideas, and these mystics escaped. The Khanka took to mendicancy and observed celibacy. They ignored rituals and followed asceticism. They were known by different names like Kalandars, Malangs, Madaris, Hadris, etc. The Chistis were the most influential out of the Sufi groups who migrated to India in the late 12th century. They adopted the features of Indian devotional traditions and local environments. The Khanka was the center of social idea. Sheikh Nizamuddin appointed few spiritual successors and sent them to different parts of the subcontinent to set up Khanka. In this way, the fame of Chistis spread around rapidly, and a number of pilgrims began to flow to his shrine and also to shrines of his ancestors. Ziyarat to the tomb of Sufi saints is prevalent all over the Islamic world. This practice is to seek the blessings of the Sufi saints for the past 700 years. People of all caste, creed, and background had shown their devotion to the dargahs of the five great Chisti saints. Use of music and dance are part of Ziyarat, which includes mystical chants performed by musicians or qawwals to develop divine ecstasy. Sufis meditated God by reciting the jikr, that the divine names, or evoking his presence through sama, that is audition. Chisti adopted the local language in Sama, and the people of Delhi associated with Chisti Silsila spoke Hindivi, the language of the common man. The most popular dargah is the dargah of Khwaja Muinuddin Chisti at Ajmer, and it is popular because of the Sheikh's austerity and royal patronage. It is situated on the trade route linking Delhi and Gujarat, thereby attracting lots of travelers. King Akbar visited his tomb 14 times and gave generous gifts. Sufism spread in Deccan via the region of Bijapur, that is Karnataka, where Sufi poems were written in Dakhani, a variant of Urdu composed by Chisti saints living there around 17th and 18th centuries. It is through this Islam gained a place in the villages of the Deccan. Chisti's main feature was their austerity. They maintained a distance from worldly power. They generally accepted unsolicited grants and donations from the political elites. They accepted in cash or kind and did not accumulate the donations. They used it for food, clothing, and ritual necessities. The king wanted to support of the Sufi saints because of their popularity with the people. It was believed that Aulia could interact with the god to improve the material and spiritual condition of the people, which was also the reason as to why rulers often wanted their tomb to be within vicinity of the Sufi dargahs and khanqahs. Though there were instances of conflict also between the Sultan and Sufis, yet in general the relations were cordial. Now it's time to know the term. What is hagiography? Hagiography means the biography of a saint written by their followers. Vachanas were the literally or sayings of the Lingayat community or the Basavanna. Jangama means the wandering monks. Ulema, the scholars of Islamic traditions. Sharia is the law governing the Muslim community based on the Quran and Hadith, the tradition of Prophet. यहाँ पोवन नहीं होगा, Quran होगा. So Jimma is the Arabic word meaning protection. Jimmi is the Arabic word meaning protected. Jizya, the tax paid by non-Muslims. Namaz, that is salat or prayers. Zakat, the giving alms. Gyana or Gina means knowledge. Zikr is the divine names. Kawals were the especially trained musicians. Dargah is the tomb shrine or Persian word means court. Ziyarat means pilgrimage to the tomb of Sufi saints. Wali, plural of awliya, that a friend of God, a Sufi who claimed proximity to Allah, acquiring his grace to perform miracles. Langar is the open kitchen. So this is the full summary of this chapter, and it is very important for your for the revision purpose. So if you like this video, then please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.